Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. I wanted to do this as the second video of my 2025 predictions. Forgive me if I overlap a little bit. I can't remember exactly what I talked about last time, but I had a lot of stuff. There's always a lot of stuff you forget to put in the video, and you're like, I forgot to say it. Also, I'm going to start off by saying, for entertainment purposes only, I am not a portfolio manager. I'm not a doctor. When I talk about stocks, you absolutely should not listen to me. Timelines are really hard when it comes to intuitive predictions because when you're asking spirit guides, you're asking a being that's on the other side who doesn't wear a watch. So it can be tough. And sometimes, straight up, sometimes I'm just plain wrong. That's the way it is. All of us who do this work things change. That's the way it is. So I'm recording this on January 2nd at 11 a.m. Pacific. And I wanted to say, gosh, I'm really sorry for all those people that were affected by what happened in New Orleans. If you haven't seen on the news, there was an unaliving attack. There was also a cyber truck blew up in front of a Trump tower. It looks like that was a similar attempt. And it's really sad because instead of thinking about what we're going to do and how we're going to make our lives better, on the new year, a lot of us spent that day going, wonder what happened. Oh my gosh, I wonder if those two are connected. All of this, going down this conspiracy theory road, which is fun. I like doing it too, right? But it did keep a lot of us from thinking about what is next year going to be like. And I kind of encourage you to come back to that. Just come back to what is it you want to create for next year? Because I do feel like we're going to be seeing more of those types of events. I couldn't even watch Biden's speech last night. I don't know about you guys, but I can't watch another one of those stupid like hopes and thoughts and prayers speech. If anybody watching this has worked for the White, I'm just curious, like, do they write those things in advance and just like plug in the disaster? I'm just curious. That's just I don't know. I'm just curious. You'd love to know it. Also, thanks so much for the people who put in the comments from the last video, the cats and when I said that a lot of people are going to get cats and dogs this year. I saw a lot of new paws on the ground. A lot of people writing about how these animals had just shown up over the holidays. So I really appreciate that. That was fun. And thanks for all the support. So I'm going to jump right in. Okay, I'm going to jump right in with a lot of my clients are asking about buying new cars. A lot of people didn't buy a car during the 2020 incident who needed a car. You're talking to somebody who's driving a 15-year-old car here. I understand this one. And are thinking about, should I get the responsible choice? Let's just call that a Toyota Corolla and a Honda Civic. Let's just say Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla. Or the fun choice, GTI, Mazda Miata. Lots of Mazdas are fun. Those are the ones that come to mind. Here's the thing. If you can afford both of those choices, get the one you want. Okay, so I'm not your mom. I'm not going to tell you, not going to give you your mom's advice. I'm saying get the one that's sexy. I'm just saying. If you can afford both. Now, if you can't, wait until you can get the one you want. The reason I say this is because a car is a lot like a piece of clothing. You wear it on the outside. It says something about you. Good and bad. Guys, women aren't really loving those Porsches. It's not the chick magnet it used to be. A lot of us go look at the price of that car and think about how much the monthly payment is. And I'm just saying, think about making the responsible choice when it really matters, but when it's something that shifts your vibrational frequency like a car, if you can afford it, get the one you want. Just saying. Because I know from experience, test drive the one, notice how you feel. Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel excited about life? It's like wearing that brand new outfit. And if you can't afford it, then you wait until you can, because I do see things going down in price. I know we've heard about these tariffs. Honestly, I just don't see it happening. I really don't. It feels like a bargaining chip when I tune into the energy of that. It feels like a negotiation happening on national television. It really just doesn't feel like a real thing. It does feel like an opportunity to create some new trade deals, or it just feels like negotiation. I really think that. Also, it's easy to forget that Biden himself had tariffs too. So before we decide that one person is bad and one person is good in this situation, I think they both do a lot of the similar things if you really look at it. Okay. Housing market. I want to talk about that housing market because I do see a lot of teenagers, as I do a lot of readings for teenagers and younger people. And a lot of them tell me they just don't feel like they're ever going to be able to buy a house. And so rather than putting their coins aside, like we were told to do when we were kids, because I'm a million years old. Uh, they're spending their money in frivolous ways. Here's the deal with that. You absolutely are gonna be able to buy a house. I do see a time when housing prices are going to come down, interest rates are going to shift. They may not come down, like, to the 0 number that they were before, I'm not sure that they will, but I do see them prices coming down to where people will be able to afford them again. So if you're, a younger person, or even if you're my age and you're on the sidelines, your time will be coming. I'm not 100% sure that it's in 2025. I think you might be able to get some deals in 2025. It might be closer to 2026. And there is kind of this silver tsunami coming our way as the baby boomers really need to sell those houses so they can use that money for their retirement. Those houses are going to come on the market, and there's a lot of them, guys. There's a lot of them. I also feel like the government might change the rules a little bit about some of these tax benefits that people get. I do see a lot of people selling second houses. I know it's shocking to think that somebody owns 2 houses, but some of these second houses are really small, or they were purchased to be like an Airbnb, and some of those properties are gonna be coming online in markets where there might be quite a few of them. Just there will be opportunities. I'm just keep seeing that there's gonna be a lot of opportunities to buy a house. You wanna make sure that you're ready, because there'll be a time when I don't know if I want to use the phrase blood in the streets, but there'll be a time when they people will be needing to get rid of these properties. And if you have coinage, you'll be able to be in a place to do that. That's kind of always true. Okay. Okay. So uh now I also want to go back to, though, the economy, because it is going to be rough in 2025. I do see a lot of people making economic decisions on a daily basis that they might not have made. Like, going to, I mean, little things like going to the restaurant, and, if they ask you what you want to drink and you're like, a glass of water, I don't want to pay $4 for a soda anymore. Multiply those little decisions over and over again every day at every restaurant, and you're going to find that a lot of restaurants are going to be in trouble. You're going to find that a lot of organizations that supply those restaurants are going to have some financial difficulties. I do think we're going to be seeing more big organizations going away, but they are going to be replaced by smaller businesses that have a smaller footprint and can be more sustainable. And I think, in some ways, this is just kind of what capitalism is, right? It's just part of the process. Part of what is happening too, though, is that as those employees get laid off, they're looking at a job environment where there just aren't any jobs. A lot of those people are going to decide to start businesses, and I am all for that. I love the idea of you guys taking your creative ideas, the things that you've been thinking about since last year, and starting to put them together in a sustainable small business. I actually wrote a whole book on that subject. I'm just going to show you, because I never remember to tell everybody about this. It's called The High Income Healer: How to Turn Your Healing Gift into Fulfilling Full-Time Business. So if you're somebody like me that does this type of work, and you're trying to figure out like how to go from being an employee, the mindset shift that happens, that's what I wrote a whole book on. I actually wrote the book. I mean, I wrote the book because I wanted you guys to buy it, but I also wrote the book because people are all day long asking me, how do you get into this business? How do you start it? And I got sick of just answering that question over and over again. So I wrote a whole book. So anyway, just going to tell you about that one. Like I'm saying, though, a lot of entrepreneurship happening out of necessity. If you're somebody that has an idea now, start to look and research. Maybe January is the month where you put some action into place. January might be a good month for you to start thinking about, how do I form an LLC in my state? Is that incorporate in my state? If you're in California, you can already tell, Google it. You're going to see it's going to cost a fortune. It's going to be expensive, and it's going to be a pain. But lots of other states, it's not that way. So if you guys aren't in California, good for you. Okay. Also, I'm seeing a lot of, and this is going to be January, and this is the whole year, but especially January, we are going to be seeing what I'm going to call disclosure events. We've already been seeing this. I know a lot of people don't love RFK. Love him or not like him, it's fine. But I will say that he has drawn a lot of attention to something I think is important here, which is some of the ingredients that are in our food supply. It is not by accident that countries where there is socialized medicine, where the whole society pays for an illness or an injury you do to yourself based on food, that those societies have stricter rules about what you can put in food. We have a pretty lax list of things that you can put in food. And I think it's nice that anyone is drawing attention to that. I do see that we may be seeing more of these kinds of things that draw attention to situations that are unhealthy. Like what happened with that Luigi, the guy with, the insurance company. I'm not going to just talk about what happened. You guys all saw it on the news, but it's a sad situation. However, people started really having the conversation about how insurance companies have really been doing things wrong and have kind of been abusing their customers over the years. And I think that was a conversation that really needed to happen. And hopefully it doesn't die out too soon, because you guys have figured out the most expensive mistake you could ever make is to not put money and investment into your own physical personal health. You do not want to be a part of the healthcare system, I guarantee you. That makes you in some ways a product, not a person. That's how you get treated. And I don't want that for you. I do see a lot of people this year making this the year that they drop some LBs and make their health a priority. I'm all in favor of that. I'm all in favor of people really being creative, getting more information about how to be healthy. I know it's tough because there's so much like differing opinions, particularly even just in diet. I mean, as a hypnotherapist, I see clients all the time who want to lose weight, and they come to me with 8 different approaches, and everybody is different. I have my own opinion on which ones are best for people, but that's not true for everyone. So you have to do your own research. But I will just say that a lot of people are going to be making those big moves this year. I'm just kind of looking at my list here. One thing I want to talk about, new businesses and new jobs. I'm just grab my list. I see a lot of MLMs kind of going away. So if your thought was that you were going to start an MLM, multi-level marketing type business, don't do it. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. But I think this would be a rough year for those. I do feel like we may see a lot of those companies going away. A lot of them already have. I think I talked about this in the last video, but that's one area where I really wouldn't put much time into it. The other thing I see a lot of people doing this year is going to be a lot of moves, a lot of big moves, like moves to other states, moves for new jobs, new moves for different opportunities. In terms of housing too, like prices of housing in one state versus the next are just, it's a huge, huge difference. Those of you from California, just for fun, like check out what it costs to buy a house in Tennessee. You'd be surprised. Be surprised that there's like one digit less in the price than there is in California. I'm just saying. You'd be surprised how much easier it is in some other places. Having said that, you do want to align to the values of the communities, as I've said before, because a lot of the governors are really going to make a big difference in what your day-to-day experience is. So you want to make sure that the governorship of the place that you're considering moving to is aligned to your morals and your values, that you guys are aligned, because I think that's actually going to be a bigger issue in 2025. Now, I know everyone wants to talk about politics. I'll get to that in just a minute. I also do want to say, though, that this is not the year to let yourself get pushed around. Guys, we need to start thinking about when to push back. Now, this is not a hold my beer situation. This is more of a telling organizations and institutions that you don't feel comfortable with the way they're using your money, so you're not going to give them any more of it. I see a lot of people canceling Amazon. I don't know. It makes me wonder what he's going to do or what he has done that made that happen. But a lot of people are just going to decide that's not where they want to put their money anymore. A lot of that just doesn't work for me versus hold my beer. I'm going to have some, take some drastic step. That's not needed. I would just say that a lot more diplomacy will be needed in what you end up doing this year. But I would encourage everyone to push back some for things that they don't like, that they don't feel good about, in a kind, loving, and respectful way. Because I do feel like in the past, some of us, particularly women, we've been a little bit complacent of, to some extent, we're used to things not going our way. Maybe it's better the time to make some changes and say, that doesn't work for me, okay? And let's see here. MLMs. Oh, the stock market. Stock market. Okay. Entertainment purposes only. I am not a stock portfolio manager. You should not listen to me. I'm going to say what I have been seeing is that I'm being shown 2 big nasty corrections. It feels like one possibly even this month, and maybe another March, April-ish. Stock market corrections are really opportunities to buy at a better price. Okay, so look at it that way. But if you are somebody holding a very large position in the stock market, it's time to, just babysit it. I've said this before. You just need to babysit that sucker. And if it looks like you need to exit the position, just do what you got to do. Okay. For most people who have their money in 401k, it'll go up and it'll go down. They may not even know that there's a problem, but they hear about it on the news. Okay. But if you're somebody who trades more regularly, this is something to be concerned about. And people ask me a lot about crypto, and I've said this before, but I'll just say it again. I don't read on crypto because I can't tune into it. Like every time I tune it, it feels like a jumping bean. I can't get any good information on it. I will say that what I have felt over the years, though, is that the government's a little bit more involved in that than people realize. The other thing I don't like to read on so much is gold, but I will say when I've tuned into gold, it just doesn't feel like it's going to do a lot up and down. It feels like it's going to go up and down, but not to the moon, like some people are saying. I might be wrong. So if you feel like it's going to go to the moon and you feel better buying it, you should buy it. Don't listen to me. Uh, but I'm not seeing that myself, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. And I don't hold a very big position in gold myself personally, but like I said, I could be wrong. So if you sleep better at night knowing you've got some, then you should. Okay, politics. Oh my God, it's going to be a rough month in January. I just feel like there's a lot of chaos. I have said this before and I'll say it again. I have never been shown an inauguration happening. I don't say that. I'm not saying I don't think he's going to be president. 45 is not going to be president. I'm not saying that. But I don't see it happening. And I don't know if it could be because of they decided to just hold it inside and, almost like the Vegas wedding behind closed doors with one witness or maybe a camera there. It could be that they delay it. It also could be based on some of what has happened recently. They wisely decide not to hold the big public display because of security reasons, and it's just really hard to secure that. I don't know, but I'm not seeing that. I am seeing a lot of chaos and confusion and anger and aggravation among the House and the Senate fighting amongst themselves. You don't need me to tell you that they always do that. They always do that. But I do see more than usual about, going on. When I tune into 2025 and I look at how people feel about what's going on, I do see a lot of people being very, very afraid of one thing or another. And I'm just going to call it, toilet tweets. They may see a toilet tweet and get scared. Oh my God, that crazy thing that they're talking about is really going to happen. And 90 to 95% of it is not going to happen at all. It's almost like being afraid of a ghost. It's sort of, as soon as you turn on the light, the phantom disappears. We're holding on to a lot of fear over things that aren't going to happen at all. The things that are going to happen that are going to shock us aren't even on our radar right now, you guys. There aren't things that people are really predicting in a meaningful way. I'm just saying, try not to get caught up into it. When you start to get pulled off your path, off your life path by stuff going on in the news, kind of bring it back to what you want to create. What do I want to create? How do I want to make my world better? Also, reconnecting with neighbors and family. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again though. Reconnecting with neighbors and family, creating new communities. I do see a lot of people with these new online communities, a lot of people connecting around the world. Some of your best connections are going to be people that live in other states that just think and feel like you. Lots of online forums. Zoom and other competing products have made it very easy for all of us to connect all over the world now. It's a lot easier to have these like video conferences and video events. I do see just lots of little small groups popping up here and there. And I love that sense of connection. I love people moving and working together in those kinds of things. People have asked me quite a bit about shortages. Food shortages, just I'm seeing a little bit of that, but when I say a little bit, I really do mean just a little bit. So obviously what's going on with eggs right now, for those of you who don't know, eggs went from $2 a dozen to like $7 a dozen. It seemed like it was overnight. And there's a reason for that. There's an unaliving thing going on that is ending a lot of the laying hens. So egg production is way, way, way down. That is temporary. Hopefully they resolve whatever is going on with these animals. As of right now, as of recording this, they don't have a resolution for it, and that is going to continue to be an issue. Also, I do feel like, this isn't intuitive. It's more like I know how food is made, right? Things that contain eggs are being made right now, and the price is going up on the raw material that's going into those products. So if you're buying like egg protein powder, it's going to be more expensive in 3 months when it hits the shelves again. That is going to continue. So there's going to be some sort of spot inflation in food, but in general, I don't see a lot of food inflation. A little bit on things here and there. I did ask my guides though about shortages that we should be concerned about, and they did show me one thing that I think is it might be helpful. I might be wrong. You might be wrong. They were just showing me batteries. It could even be that you get a little bit of conflict with countries that have the raw materials that go into batteries. If you have specialty batteries, like if you've got a hearing aid that has a specialty battery, I know it's this little round battery that's hard to find. You probably have to special order it. I just have a few extra. You may find yourself trading those with your neighbor. I don't feel like you won't be able to get them. I do feel like it could be a little harder. It could be more expensive. I just always keep extra batteries anyway. That's always a good idea. Those batteries that go in your key fob for your car, those are you have to special order those most of the time. Have a few extra in a drawer. I mean, just you could trade them with your neighbors. I see people trading them with their neighbors. Have a few extra of those kinds of things, but in general, I don't feel like there's going to be a huge increase in that. I just don't feel inflation in general being a big problem. I know other people are talking about that. That's not what I'm seeing, but if you have some specific fear or concern that you have, follow my whole sleep better at night rule. If you would sleep better at night, if you had 8 cans of something in your cupboard that you are concerned about having, then have it. If you'd sleep better at night, if you've had 3 cases of oat milk in your cupboard, you should go get them. Go get right now. It's probably on sale at Costco. I'm just saying, just know that most of what the things that you're afraid of, that you're really afraid of, aren't going to happen. And in spite of what I have said in this last 22 minutes, I see for most people this being a really good year. I see a lot of people sitting around in December drinking their eggnog saying, you know what? 2024 was rough, but 2025 was actually a really good year. A lot of transition, a lot of people moving in from one types of business to another, lots of new people moving to new places, new situations in their life. 2025 is really going to be a good year. In terms of who's going to be our political leaders, I do see a lot of that shifting, but I do see a lot of calm after March, April, calm for a while. And things not paying as bad as you think they're going to be. That's just what I'm seeing. I will say that as far as conflict events around the world go, that situation is not going to improve for a while. I'll talk about that in a different video, but I do feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff on the news that's going to give us pause and make us want to, hug our puppies and our kittens. But in general, you're going to be watching it on the news. For almost all of you, this is just going to be something that happens to someone else, where you get to watch that stupid thoughts and prayers speech again from whatever political leaders we have. And you maybe send them some money. Okay. So I hope you got something out of this. I do appreciate all the support and all of the kind words. And I hope you like and subscribe and check out the book online if you're interested. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.